right, welcome everybody to the Sunday show. It's the preseason, but it's Artetaball is tuning up, and I saw a little bit of that yesterday. Watched the game yesterday, and we're getting there. We're getting there. I think starting to look a lot more cohesive, but we'll talk about it. Ricardo Calafiori is probably on a plane somewhere right now, or has joined. Will be joining the squad today, and it looks like Mikel Merino will be coming along as well. That's going to be there's strong links to him now from Real Sociedad. So, our preseason and our summer transfer window is starting to take shape, and everything is compressed because of the Euros. So, with that, I want to welcome Lawrence and Alonso into the house, joining me today. So, how are we doing, fellas?
I'm doing okay, recovering from the last few days.
Yeah, you've been out gallivanting around, Lawrence.
Yeah, I've been painting the town red with Gunnosaurus.
I saw that one. Hanging out with Gunnosaurus. Indeed. So we'll get more of your insights, Lawrence, in a moment from the last few days that you've been watching Arsenal, Bournemouth, and Manchester United. How are you doing, Alonso?
Yeah, I'm good. Just hanging out, just getting better. It's been talked a lately about getting oral surgery, but I'm getting better though. So
yeah,
I saw the games on TV, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later. But I think last night looked better.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it, and you do sound like you're getting better as well, Alonso. That's a good thing. So let's get into the chat box here, and we'll get to Lawrence. Want to get your experience over the two games in a second as well. Really, even though friendly or not, beating the Manx is always sweet. And now we've got another thing for Ten Hag to complain about. The Arsenal are living forever, rent-free in his head. Hojlund's in the house. And really, it's Merino. So I'm probably not pronouncing it right. I'm going to slip into the Jose Mourinho thing. It's Merino. I will try to do that, like Dan Marino. Okay? Mikel. We'll call him Mikel number 2.
Mini Mick.
Mini Mick. And Mikel Arteta, we'll talk about it a little later, but he's probably going to be that midfield general that Mikel Arteta wants in midfield. By all accounts, he's very similar to Granit Xhaka in his style and the way he plays as well in that role. So, Lawrence, let's take a moment and tell me about your two days watching Arsenal on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's good fun, It's always good to see Arsenal come out here. One of my gripes, though, is the ticketing for these two games. Okay.
Yeah.
I had it on good authority from someone who works for AFTV that the Bournemouth game was meant to be a behind the closed doors friendly.
Wow.
And at the last minute, the club decided, no, we don't want to deprive the fans. We'll let them come and watch.
Yeah, have that opportunity.
Now, yeah. So I paid for the Bournemouth game $115 for that game. Last night's game was $320. Something's got to be done about the ticketing situation out here.
Yeah,
it is a racket.
Yeah,
we all don't want to go. We're all not Taylor Swift fans and are willing to pay through the nose. Overall, the two events, I think it must have cost me in total, what with beer and food added in. I must have laid out like $700.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And don't get me started on Uber. That's a whole nother issue, right? I don't want to get involved because this is a football podcast.
Yeah.
But in saying that, excuse me, I had a good time. I mean, I met Theo Walcott at the tailgate party for the Bournemouth game. I didn't spot Gilberto, you know, because he was wearing glasses. I think he was incognito. I didn't even know he was doing that as well.
Yeah.
But I met Theo Walcott. It was a good laugh. The game itself, I don't know. It was your typical pre-season friendly. You know, players were trying to get the rust out of their legs. The size of the crowd was a bit embarrassing as well. I think there must have been like maybe 2,000 people watching the game. I mean, behind one goal, there was no crowd there whatsoever. The kids played well. Carl Hein. I don't know whether you remember when John Lukic played for us.
Yeah.
Or when John Lukic played for us, whenever he kicked the ball out, it went straight out of touch. You know, and this is what Carl Hein did against Bournemouth and yesterday. Every time he got the ball went out of touch for a throw-in.
Yeah.
But that the Waneri kid looks very promising indeed.
Yeah.
Heaven looks good as well. I can't remember the names of the other kids, but it looks very good indeed. What's that?
Lewis Skelly playing left back.
Lewis Skelly. Yeah. Carl Hein, he got caught out badly for the Man United goal. You can't have your legs open like that. Jesus was sharp yesterday, took his goal well.
Yep.
As did Martinelli. But all in all, enjoyable 2 games. Why they had to have a penalty shootout afterwards, I've got no idea. I mean, that's just. I mean, what next? What next, Ray? You're gonna try and chip the ball from the halfway line to the crossbar.
A crossbar challenge, yeah. Come on.
Yeah, the crossbar challenge. I mean, it's just we won the game 2-1. Was it really necessary to have a penalty shootout?
You got to stay another 10 minutes at the stadium, Lawrence.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, the stadium is out of this world. I've got to give it. I mean, I don't like Kroenke, but that stadium, SoFi, is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a place in London that I used to hang out in called Brent Cross Shopping Centre. And it looks like they've taken the Brent Cross Shopping Centre and crammed it into that stadium. Unbelievable stadium.
Yeah.
But I hate the owners, but
is part of it, Lawrence, is part of it built below ground level, so you actually arrive mid-level in the stadium?
Yeah, because as I told you before we started, I've got some health issues going on and I can't stand up for long periods on my legs.
Yeah.
So they wheeled me in a wheelchair and we got into a lift. Elevator, sorry. For all Americans, elevator. For us Brits, it's a lift. They got me into a lift in a wheelchair, and took me up to the to where I was supposed to sit.
Yeah.
But it's one hell of a stadium. You know, they've got 70,000 seats for a stadium of that size. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, but all in all, a good experience. Was that the first time you've gone to SoFi?
Yeah, it was a fantastic I had a good time. Yeah, I've got issues about the ticketing and with Uber, but all in all, I enjoyed myself over the last week or so.
Right, right. That's good as well. It's all about enjoying the outing, and it's the game, but it's also meeting people, hanging out with Gunnar Soros and Theo Walcott. Um, Rady said Lawrence and an Uber should be another podcast by itself, hosted by Gary and Tony. So I don't know if you want to join those two, Lawrence. That would be
Oh
crazy.
my god, that'd be the worst Lawrence sandwich ever.
Yeah, that penalty shootout really did wind me up, and they didn't broadcast it at all. Or they, Alonso, I don't know if you saw it. They cut to an ad break and missed the first two penalties.
I saw it ESPN Plus, so I saw all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I didn't.
Still,
I was on ESPN Plus also, and they cut to a break, and we missed the first two penalties because of it.
Okay, so then, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I kind of disagree with the penalty shootout, but I think the fans, quote unquote, like it, I guess. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's just
a little bit of fun, and as Lawrence alluded to, you already spend a lot of money, so why not spend another 10 minutes providing a penalty shootout for the players and for entertainment.
Yeah, but it just doesn't make sense, Ray. Because if you're going to have a penalty shootout after a 90-minute game where one team has won the game, then, as I said, you might as well have a crossbar challenge, or who can score direct from a corner kick.
Yeah,
it's getting beyond a joke. It's too much football as it is right now.
Yeah, and look, we're here right now talking about this, so I'm going to open it out to a larger conversation in a second. I think you might know what I'm going to be talking about now. Stephen O'Toole said, "We win, but we lose." That's Arsenal. We won the game. That's the main thing. The penalty shootout was nothing. Ten Hag might point to the fact that they won the penalty shootout. One area looked very impressive. Exactly across two games in this preseason, he's hanging in there. He provided the assist for the Jesus goal, and he's a very, very intelligent player. 17 years old, but when you're good enough, you're old enough. That's the old adage when it comes to Ethan Nwaneri. We should have let the stadium after full-time pens were a load of American bollocks. Why is Walcott on the Arsenal tour? I think because last year Gary and I went to the stadium and Ray Parler was there and Lauren were there. They always bring some former Arsenal players along on the tour, and it's good to grow the Arsenal game in America as well. It's on the unnecessary full stop, says Reddy. And I think Mr. Tom has been quoted as saying Arsenal have one of the biggest audiences in the US, if not the biggest of all of the Premier League clubs. But I'm sure someone will fact check me there. Doug, great to see you here. Good evening, all. And we will be coming up against Liverpool on Wednesday. So Doug is here for that. Doug, how is the preseason going for Liverpool? Just let me know there. Walcott is an ambassador, like Parler. Exactly. Okay, so Alonso, all of this going on in the US tour, and I'm going to ask the question now. There's been talk about growing the game and bringing maybe a Premier League weekend to the US, or take it out of the UK, take it out of England. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, every big franchise, every big entity is going to try to grow the game outside of its own confines. I think I know where Lawrence might be on this one, but where do you stand on it, Alonso?
I mean, nowadays you're seeing more American sports go overseas and playing in England or Ireland or have you know. College football has gone to Ireland a couple of times. I know that I know Penn State played, I believe it was Georgia Tech, or was it Georgia Tech versus Notre Dame in Ireland.
Yep.
And it was also Penn State and Central Florida playing also in Ireland as well a couple of years ago. So, the fascination with football in England or in Great Britain has really come alive of late. And now recently seen the Mets and Phillies playing in England, so or London rather. So you're seeing more American sports go overseas for potential exposure. You're seeing more football teams going to London as well, playing at Wembley. So now, as far as the Premier League having a weekend here in the States, I know a lot of people are opposed to it because of the time difference. And to me, it doesn't make any sense to why you would have Premier League weekends here in the States because of many different reasons. Because I think a lot of people have been accustomed to the times. I know here in the States we wake up early some games to watch Arsenal play, and then over there in England, it's I guess the earliest games is at 12 o'clock. So their time. So there's reasons why it will work, but people don't want it to work because they're set in their ways as far as having to wake up earlier or wake up at a certain time watch the Arsenal play. So yeah, and there's also a lot of traditionalists rather that don't like the idea.
Yeah. No, I mean, and then you're going to ask the players to travel, to play a game in the U.S. And I think it's Craig, right? And Craig said you can't have the North London Derby played in America. It would be kind of ridiculous to take a game of that magnitude to America. But Lawrence, I'm going to say this, and progress isn't always the best. I wouldn't know if you call this progress, but this is probably what's where the game is going. They're going to take a game out of the Premier League and play it on another continent altogether. We can just see it happening, right? Can't we?
Yeah, but why do we have to copy other leagues? It's just not on. Like we had this issue about the 39th game. It's just, you just can't do it, right? You just can't do it. I'm just sick and tired of all this bullshit about, oh yeah, we've got to play a Premier League game there and America because the money's there. It's all about greed at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
It's
all about greed.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't care what other leagues do. I don't care if the NFL brings a game to London. I don't care if baseball brings a game to London. I don't care if the NBA brings a game to London. You do not do that with the Premier League, period. I don't give a fuck. You do not take as a schedule, a game out of the Premier League schedule and play it in New York or Los Angeles or Miami or wherever.
Yeah. And it would be presenting an unequal advantage to other teams that wouldn't be doing this. So let's say, for instance, Arsenal and Liverpool are taken out of the Premier League and going to play a game in New York, let's say, because we're going to have one in Philadelphia on the East Coast as a preseason game. Let's say to take Arsenal and Liverpool, you wouldn't have that game at the Emirates, you wouldn't have that game at Anfield, and those are marquee games, big games in the football calendar. And as Reddy said, it would be the death of football, And
who would be the home team? Would either team sacrifice home field advantage just to make an extra buck or two?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then you're asking players to already, we know what our fixture list looks like right up to Christmas. We're playing Champions League games. We're playing Carabao Cup games. We're playing Premier League games, and we're expected to be one of the best teams around, if not the best team around this year. Well, you're going to add more to the workload of these Premier League players who are just, some of them are just coming back now from the European Championships. Those players who got as far as the semi-final in the Copa or the Europa League or the Euro 2024, the likes of Kai Havertz came back, Gabriel Magalhaes and Gabriel Martinelli, they just came back from summer competitions and now trying to get back into the swing of things with the Alonso, the Premier League barely 3 weeks away.
Yeah, in a sense, kind of shows you that either the players want to come back early because they're excited to start the season because they know how close they were in the league last year, or they just are just wanting to play more and prove to themselves that they can be better than their club and country played. And maybe it's just the excitement of being in America and being with the fans because they know the fans have good support towards Arsenal. I think, as you said, Ray, that Arsenal are the most, are one of the most supported clubs here in America amongst the Premier League team. So there's something to be said about that. I think we also have some pretty top-notch stadiums here in America that are able to cater to those that want to watch the game. And it's pretty cool how we could go on TV and watch our Arsenal play whenever they play.
Yeah, and definitely they'll be able to cater to the team, to the fans as well. But Lawrence has shelled out for a preseason game. Has shelled out a decent amount of coin for the two games as well. Taib, hello everybody, hello people. Lawrence, I'm curious to know the percentage of Arsenal versus Man United fans in the stadium by your estimation.
Somebody told me yesterday that it was 3-1 in Arsenal's favour.
Right, and that's kind of
because I don't know if it showed up on the TV, but at one end that was for Man United fans. It was half empty, and up the other end, it was just completely full.
Yeah.
Of Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw fans from other clubs there. I saw a Tottenham fan wearing a Tottenham shirt. Why? I've got no idea.
Basically, a Man United fan.
I saw a West Ham fan there. There were people supporting other teams there. I mean, I think it was 62,000 that they said were there yesterday, which is a good turnout.
Yeah.
But as I said, like
3-1,
3-1 in Arsenal's favour.
Yeah. No, it did ring through, and the only time I saw any Manchester United fans of any note were they were behind the goal for the penalty shootout at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The game
I must also say, Ray, the officiating in both games is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I don't know where they found these referees, right? But they got no idea of the rules of the game. They were letting so many things go. They were letting so many things go. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the referee yesterday, I mean, he must be working for British Rail the way he was lifting his flag up for offside every time we came forward. But that's another thing. But.
Yeah. Alonso, anything else to add to that?
If we had been from MLS or something like that, because they're just too, they didn't know how to control the game. And I was reading online that, like, a lot of Manchester fans, like, and these Arsenal players are, like, giving us a hard time because they're trying to injure us. I'm like, okay, did they not see Odegaard getting hurt with his shoulder, So kind of thought it was kind of unfair, and I think that the refs
Yeah.
just lost control of the game at that point and just
Yeah.
let anything go.
I
And
know
it-
that. Well, that's happened in England as well. I've seen some preseason games where the tackles have gotten a bit tasty. I remember an Arsenal Chelsea game where there was an injury off the back of that probably 3 or 4 seasons ago. Definitely was a worry when Odegaard landed on his shoulder. Here's me thinking, and a lot of Arsenal fans saying Odegaard's our most key player because we don't have a very, very good direct replacement for Odegaard, especially if Emile Smith-Rowe is going to be moving to Fulham. One area could be that player, but that's a lot of responsibility just put on Odegaard. Happy that he was able to get back up and be able to get moving again because it looked like a pretty hefty fall, and you just didn't know how hard the grass was in that stadium as well. What did the stadium look like, Lawrence, to you?
It looked like a bowling green. I mean, it literally looked like a carpet that they were playing on.
So it looked pretty good. The grass.
I've got to give from where I was sitting. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is before they started the game, they had these blokes carrying these massive hoses and watering the pitch during the warm up. It was the funniest thing. It was like they were carrying a massive anaconda.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, I don't know what state of the pitch was, but it looked like a green carpet.
Yeah. Was it warm out there, Lawrence?
Yeah, pretty warm. Pretty warm.
All right, so I mean, those are things that you take into account for preseason, the warmth, the humidity, and it's probably a good thing sometimes for the players to get up to fitness to be able to get that blowout as well. You know what I mean? The AFC always says the Cronkies want that Super League more than the Champions League, and this is greed in football now. It's a real thing. Dugout Football Channel said the Liverpool beat Betis 1-0. Szoboszlai got the winner, going well so far. Got you to play, and then Man Utd, and then home to Sevilla, and then the season kicks off. So, Alonso, things are moving pretty fast now for Arsenal. I know we play Liverpool next, but who have we got after that? We come back for a tournament. Right?
We've got Bayer Leverkusen at the Emirates.
Okay. So it's Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen. Anything else, or is that it?
Yeah, then we play the Emirates Cup game against Lyon.
Okay. All right. So we have Liverpool.
Then it's Wolves' first game of the season.
Okay. So I think we have 3 games then, right? Liverpool, Leverkusen, and Lyon, the 3 L's. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Alonso, let's get into the game. So I saw some fantastic interplay for Arsenal. A lot of possession-based football, a lot of combinations, and it looked like Artetaball is tuning in nicely for the season, Alonso.
Yeah, it's kind of cool having how Arteta is incorporating a lot of youngsters, and to me they've impressed. Even the center backs, and the midfield as well with Salah and Nori and Jorginho in midfield and Odegaard as well. So we're seeing a lot of influx of academy kids, or should I say, Tony's academy kids, making a difference. And I'm quite excited. And even Arteta has some praise for youngsters as well. Looking forward to seeing how they do over the preseason, and if they just get more games in, or they succeed in the U21s or what have you. But they're really encouraged about certain players that kind of caught my eye a little bit. And moving forward, I hope that they do well, continue to do well.
Going into the first goal that we conceded, Alonso, it struck me as kind of a similar game to the Emirates game last season. We go goal down to Rashford, then Odegaard equalizes, and we win it in injury time. Now, we won it in the 80th minute before injury time came along, but a first goal conceded. I know Lawrence mentioned that Carl Haynes shouldn't be getting beaten that way. And I kind of agree with that. It's kind of poor goalkeeping. You need your goalkeeper to bail. A young defender needs his goalkeeper to bail him out a little bit when Heaven was obviously done by Hojlund in that scenario. Yeah, I blame the defender more than Karl Hein, but Karl Hein really didn't hold himself. He didn't do himself any favors there, Alonso.
Yeah, and that's what happens when a young goalkeeper with hardly any experience. But I like how he overcame that. I like how he played against Bournemouth as well. I forget the young defender's name. Do you guys know?
Heaven.
Yeah. So it seems like he got a lot of praise from Arteta. As soon as they made that mistake, he didn't back down.
Yeah.
He finished the game, or he finished the second half rather. So,
yeah.
I think, like I said before, it's important that we see these youngsters and see what they had to offer. And I hope that Arteta just keeps an eye on them. I know it's a tough task because they're so very young, but they impressed him. And I think they impressed some fans as well.
Yeah, and look, we saw the video footage of Gabriel Martinelli arriving back to the hotel, Havertz as well, and Gabriel Magalhaes as well. And you could see when he was joining up with the academy kids, the kind of all that they hold him in. And I think, Lawrence, Aiden Heaven playing centre back there up against Hojlund, there's an obvious experience difference there. Hojlund is a few years older than him, a few years wiser, and he just got done by Hojlund's pace and just a bad angle that he took. But I think, as Mikel Arteta said, he fixed his game as the game went on. Heaven's game got a little bit better and maybe took a little bit of a leaf from Gabriel Magalhaes' book, because we know Gabriel Magalhaes used to have a mistake in him, but it's not the mistake that you make, but it's how you continue with your game and you don't fall to pieces. So, what were your thoughts on that, on the first goal?
Yeah, well, like I said, like you said, he got called out bad.
Yeah.
He did kind of push Hojlund further out.
Yeah.
But Hojlund's professionalism and experience made him counter that. And as I said, Karl Hein, you cannot have your legs open like that.
Yeah.
At your near post, right? It's just unforgivable that. But Heaven grew into the game more. He had some nice touches on the ball, and he was playing alongside Timber and Gabriel as well, which should have boosted his confidence as well. So I was pretty impressed with the youngsters. We should be happy with the progression of the kids in our squad.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the kind of games that you can make mistakes in, and I think Mikel Arteta publicly is always going to say the right thing about the players as well, and not want to destroy their confidence. It remains to be seen how we, going forward this season, how the squad will take shape. But I do believe that Tony's academy kids will probably number 2 to 3 this season. Alonso, there's got to be at least 2 or 3 players that might make the breakthrough into the squad this coming season.
Yeah, we know one of them was in the Marty. Patino, I haven't seen our preseason, so I don't know if he's going to move or not. I would like to have seen. Who's that guy that played? I guess he was a left back, I think.
Miles
Yeah,
Skelly,
yeah.
left back. Yeah.
And there's the other one as well.
And Brady said he's not going to read too much into these games. We'll see the full squad probably against Leon. Yeah, it's only his second game in, and we are, unfortunately, due to the Euros, Lawrence didn't get to see Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, or Ramsdale either. But apart from that, now that's how the squad is taking shape. We integrated Gabriel Magalhaes last night. Martinelli, we'll talk about Martinelli in a little bit, and Kai Havertz as well. And Kai Havertz looked quite lively. And Alonso, the difference between Kai Havertz summer tour last year and Kai Havertz summer tour this year is that our Arsenal fans are on board with Kai Havertz now. We didn't quite know about him last year, but especially the second half of the season that he had, you could tell in the stadium the buzz around Kai Havertz coming on and having a chance or two almost immediately.
Yeah, and like I said, or not like I said, but I think Kai Havertz coming in last year, he was basically like ripped apart by the fans and media on why we signed Kai Havertz for the price we did. And all it took was just a little bit of confidence, a little bit of push here and there. Arteta and his teammates to get across that hurdle and believe he can make a difference. And the game about Arteta, he likes working with players that have been damaged or maybe have lost confidence in themselves. And he did it again with Kai Havertz. And you got to applaud him for that because he made a difference in the second half, more so than in the first half. But I think it takes patience. And some Arsenal fans don't have the patience to wait for a player like Kai Havertz.
Yeah.
So we'll play for both Arteta and Kai Havertz for most of Kai Havertz for believing in himself like he did before when he was at Bayern Leverkusen. I think now we look forward to more things from Kai Havertz and when he can do better, or at least take a step forward.
Yeah. Definitely, we're looking to see Kai Havertz grow stronger in these next 3 games as well before the Premier League. It's only about 3 games to go now before we play Wolves at home in about 3 weeks. Lawrence, I wish Tony was here. We could have a discussion.
Don't.
Maybe. Huh?
I said, I don't.
I don't. So maybe his ears are going to be ringing now, Lawrence. But
yeah,
Tony's pushing for these academy kids to come through and play each and every year, and Mikel Arteta hasn't brought academy kids into the first team. I know it was preseason yesterday, and players are getting their feet and getting a blowout, but all 3 goals, Lawrence, were subject to young academy players making mistakes.
Yeah.
So
well, it's like the saying, you learn by your mistakes, don't you?
Yeah, but we can't really do that when we go into the Premier League and we're up against Man City. We're not going to be able to make these kind of mistakes where what's the first one? Aiden Heaven makes a mistake and Carl Hein is not good enough for a pretty tame shot at the end of the day. The second one, Amass makes a huge mistake with an offside rule against Jesus. And then the third goal, Fish doesn't attack Martinelli enough for the goal in the 80th minute. So all 3 goals subject to academy players making pretty basic mistakes when it comes to being a professional footballer. And, it's quite striking when you see a very, very young player and then you see a player of the experience of even a Johnny Evans, it's night and day, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not bothered about Manchester United's academy players,
Yeah,
but more concerned about ours.
yeah,
But yeah, you are going. These kids are going to make mistakes. It's part and parcel, but they'll learn. They'll learn. And I know for sure that Arteta isn't going to play these kids against Manchester City once the season kicks off, unless we have
correct.
some major injury problems.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I like what I see from them. The future does look bright for us, but let's focus on the now, not on the future.
yeah, yeah. And look, we know, Alonso, we know the majority of these players are here because the senior players are not available due to summer competitions, you know. But some of them are going to take their chances. Some of them will be given a chance by Mikel Arteta, and some of them will get into the squad throughout the season.
Yeah, and I know Tony's really wanting his academy kids to play some games, but I think it has to take some convincing. Um, Arteta doesn't want to mess up what he has, and I think that's his biggest fear is that, well, if I play an academy kid, then and if they mess up, then I'm at fault because I believed in this player, kind of thing.
Yeah,
But at some point, he has to learn how to trust those players because they have something to offer. And if they mess up, hey, then that's up to the coach to grab him by the neck and just say, hey, it's okay. And we move on, and you'll get better at what you're going to do for the future. And we've seen Wenger do it all the time. We've seen even Emery do it. Now Arteta has to take a chance because at what point does he let these academy kids go because they're not quote unquote good enough for the way he wants to play? So I think this time is now that he has to learn how to look into the academy kids and realize that there's could be some players in it that could be really special for the future.
yeah. One in particular, Alonso, is one Nwari. We've been talking about him. We've referenced him a little bit, and he was key to the Gabriel Jesus goal with the build up on the left hand side. Amass not being able to mark Jesus and keep him offside, and Jesus's movement was quite good yesterday as well, Alonso.
Yeah, and that's one of Jesus' struggles is that he can't really stay injury free. And there's some points in the game where he did go to ground and he fell again. So it seems like this guy can't even. It's like his hair spot is on the ground, just taking a nap or something like that, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, he's got to learn how to stay healthy and or just keep himself fit so he could be a factor and not be so much into the rumors that he's going to leave, which is still kind of who's going to go because there were points for the last 2 seasons that we could have used them,
yep.
and instead of giving in the physio, trying to get healthy, and it's never worked out for him, in my opinion. And yeah, it's good to get goals in preseason, but at what point are you going to score goals on a regular basis like you're supposed to? Right, we got him for.
Yeah.
So yeah, his injury record hopefully will change this season if they keep him. But he's not a striker. He's not our striker that we need. So that's also a concern for me.
Yeah, Lawrence, what position did you see Nwari the most? What area of the field did he operate in most? Or what area of the
He,
field do you think he'd be
he
suited to?
operated. He operated mostly on the right flank in Saka's position. He was cutting in like Saka and laying the ball on. And I think for the meantime, he's going to be our cover for Saka, and unless Arteta brings someone else in. But
Okay,
he does
so
look a very promising prospect indeed.
Yeah, listen, that's the player that could be. Everyone talks about cover for Saka and cover for Odegaard. This could be the player. He's not going to take huge minutes away from either one of these two players, Odegaard or Saka, but he's going to take enough where he can grow and he can also give them, some rest throughout the season. Because Saka's not getting something done in the 75th or 80th minute, you could bring Anwari in. The same thing with Odegaard. We can't expect Odegaard to be the creative talent or the playmaker for the majority of the season across 4 competitions. So, Alonso, what do you think about Anwari being that guy for Saka and Odegaard?
I like the idea. I think he's at some point has to be ready himself to want to play and want to prove Arteta and his teammates that he can deputize both Odegaard and Saka. I think that he's been a player that I think a lot of fans have been talking about ever since his debut 2 years ago. As far as being a future Arsenal star, but it's up to him to want to take the reins and it's not just be on the bench, but also start in League Cup games as well when they have a weaker schedule. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how he can adjust and if he could live up to the potential. But yeah, I hope that people don't expect him to make wonder passes or get goals off the bench. But he's still very young, so I know that there's a words that are used around prodigy, and I hope that he doesn't feed into that notion that he could be a very good player at a very young age, but just settle him into the team and like I said, just deputize both Saka and Odegaard, and just be his own person, I guess, and being his own player and get those down.
100%. And I'm looking forward. Looking forward to watching Anwari throughout this season because I think we're going to see some meaningful minutes for him, and I think Mikel Arteta's got to open it up a little bit more to some of Tony's academy kids having some options, and maybe Lawrence, maybe we're going to have a secondary box of crayons that Mikel Arteta can pull from. There's going to be some other colors and some more vibrant colors throughout the throughout the season.
Some belt tip pens.
What I love about this channel as well, like we all bring a little bit of flavor to what we do. So Tony's box of crayons is definitely going to be a thing throughout the season, and he's going to love that as well. He's got a little bit of ego. Yeah. He likes that stuff. Hey, we'll go for that. Yeah. What's that?
I said Tony's got an ego.
He has got an ego. He likes to have that ego. Brandished. Let's go another 10 minutes or so, and then we'll get out of here. It's going to be a shorter podcast than usual. There's not a ton of news going on, but Alonso, we talked about the goal that Jesus scored. So now we're 1-1, and Martinelli comes on in the second half, and Mikel Arteta has been talking about Martinelli as well as he came prepared. He didn't come to get prepared. He is prepared. And maybe the crayon in the box, he prefers a Martinelli crayon over a Trossard crayon, and he just needed to. He's maybe showing signs that Mikel Arteta is going back to that Martinelli crayon rather than the Trossard crayon, even though Trossard was the second best player last season.
Right. So Martinelli, I think, has a lot to prove because of the fact that he didn't to his standards, have a good season last year because he was hurt and lost confidence and what have you. But it kind of shows that he still has it, right? And as an Arsenal fan, it's kind of encouraging knowing that he can still perform and put the ball behind the net. And he's always had good ability and good speed to overtake the right back from an opposing team. So he's got confidence there, and it's just a matter of putting one and one together and having a great play like Martinelli can be still. Um, but I think it's always good to have competition with Odegaard and Trossard there. So it's always good to have a backup that can score goals as well, like Trossard can, and we're very lucky to have them both.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. I'm looking at Lawrence as well when you're talking about Tony's box of crayons. Lawrence getting a great tune out of that one. But doesn't it say Lawrence? What did Martinelli look like when he came on? Did he look electric and good to you?
Yeah, he looked very lively indeed. He took the goal well. It looked like he lost control of the ball up in the build-up, but give him his fair due. It looks like he's overcome his bad spell. One disappointment about yesterday, I did think Trossard had a good game. I don't know what's happening with him, but I haven't been impressed with him in either of the two games that I watched. I don't know if it's
Trossard. I think Trossard is that kind of player, though. You're not going to see it
I don't
immediately.
know if
There's
he's
a big
I
difference
don't
in
know
their
if he's
games.
yeah, I don't know if he's still trying to get over the Euros, but yeah, he didn't impress me at all either yesterday or last Wednesday.
The thing with Trossard and Martinelli, they both have different eye tests. So if you look at Martinelli, he looks energetic. He looks like he's going to give you something, but he runs down some blind alleys as well and doesn't get you what you need at the end of the day. Trossard doesn't look as energetic, but he's got that ability on the ball to be able to produce as well. But they both give you different things and maybe similar numbers at the end of the season. It's just difficult. The visual aesthetic look of how they play is completely different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I just said, I don't know if he's still weary from playing for Belgium in the Euros, but from what I saw of him yesterday, he came on as substitute against Bournemouth as well as starting yesterday. And I don't know, I just wasn't impressed with what I saw from him. Hopefully, he'll get the rust out of his legs by the time we play Wolves in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Alonso, can you put your finger on that Trossard and Martinelli stuff that's going on?
I don't think there's nothing going on. I think that Trossard's still a pretty good player, and I think Bournemouth have had a few good run minutes there, and I think that it's just two different people. I think Trossard's more less of a he doesn't run at people so much so as Martinelli does, but he does have a good knack for a good goal. I think Martinelli he runs at people and he has the pace to do so. I think Trossard is more of a clinical finisher. I think Martinelli dribbles too much at times. So he just runs out of space when he does that. But I think Trossard is more clinical. I think he's more finesse. I think we're lucky to have him. There's nothing wrong with him. I don't think. I think he just kind of. I think one excuses could be that he's kind of tired. Because he did play a lot more than Martinelli did in the Copa America. Um, But other than that, I see that wrong. That's just hard.
Yeah, if we get a Martinelli back firing again that we didn't have last season, Trossard does something similar. Jesus gives us more. Uh, we know we're gonna get from Bukayo Saka and
Wait,
Odegaard.
did you say that Jesus offers us more?
If we get more from Jesus, if
All
we
right,
didn't get a
okay.
lot, we didn't get a lot from Jesus last season, and I know people will try to say that he has good all round play. Well, he's a striker, and he's going to be judged on the amount of goals that he puts in the back of the net, like he did yesterday. Those are the kind of goals and that kind of movement we need from Gabriel Jesus. The funny thing about Gabriel Jesus is he'll do one thing that's brilliant, and then the next thing he does is absolutely dumb. So he's not able to put two great sequences of play together. Like there was one sequence where he got past the defender from kind of a back heel. He did a backward Cruyff toward the goal, something like that, and then he tried to find the player in the middle, and his pass was not good enough to find somebody. So that's what I mean. He does one piece of brilliance, and then the second piece doesn't always come together for him. So he's very inconsistent that way. If we get more from Jesus, if we get another big season from Kai Havertz, then obviously we're going to be cooking with the likes of Trossard, Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, Jesus, Havertz, and a lot of people are looking for that extra attacking player, which Arsenal absolutely should go out and try and get a winger of the ilk of maybe a Neto or a Nico Williams. Absolutely, Arsenal should be adding to that. But we have a lot. We have a lot of talent going forward already, Alonso.
Yeah, we have ER. We have ER as well, and now whether or not he gets stay healthy is a question mark as well. Because we all know that he offers us a lot via the women's game, and also the game yesterday. He had put on some good minutes as well. So I don't know if he could stay healthy. I think Vieira could be something special as well, but we have yet to see that because he's always hurt. Just like Nelson Slow is always hurt as well. So right now it's only a question mark of how they can stay healthy, and Jesus is always hurt as well. So this is something that I think Arsenal needs to stay away from. Is just getting players that won't be on the injury list so much so if they can get on the pitch because they can offer so much
Yeah.
more if they were healthy. And that's the concern I have with Jesus and Vieira and Martinelli is that, how they always hurt, but soccer always plays.
Yeah.
So it's really frustrating as an Arsenal fan because we signed Jesus, and also who's always hurt too is Zinchenko. They're always hurt, and it seems like we have yet to see the best of them because when they get hurt, they lose confidence.
Right. And that's why we're trying to future-proof the injury situations in our squad as well. Ricardo Calafiori will be joining the squad a little bit later today, so we should be seeing video of that at the latest tomorrow of where he joins up with the squad. The club always do put out great PR, and so we'll see that. Lawrence, one other player we're linked to is Mikel Merino. There you go. I'm going to try and say it properly. Mikel Merino from Real Sociedad. This looks like a real player, and alongside Calafiori is going to raise the level within the squad. So Mikel Merino, it looks like the next one is going to be coming down the line. Well, Lawrence, altogether, things are shaping up. Arsenal, it's all about getting fitness. It's about getting the squad back together, and putting a cohesive squad together for 3 weeks from now against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. Like I said, I still haven't seen any news about
The shirt.
Calafiori or what?
That's the shirt.
The shirt?
Yeah, you'll be seeing Calafiori raising the shirt up soon, right?
Yeah. Well, like I
And
said,
signing the thing.
I met people at the tailgate who said he's already signed for us and he's having his medical. And it's funny because to me, like I told you the other day, a done deal is when he's actually lifting up the shirt. He's got Arteta and Edu either side of him. And all this bullshit about, oh, he's already signed for us and Marino's going to follow him, I take with a pinch of salt. So we'll see what happens over the next few days.
You just want to see it signed, sealed, and delivered. You want those three things.
But all joking aside, Ray, it takes Arsenal 50 days in a transfer window to get one deal, if it is a deal, over the line. And you've got clubs like Aston Villa who have signed 6 or 7 players in the same time frame. The way this club does its transfer business is an absolute joke. I'm sorry. Every fucking transfer window, it's the same thing. Arsenal drag their heels, and it takes them an eternity to bring in one fucking signing. And other clubs have got their ducks lined up in a row, and they get everyone they get in one after the other. And we can't get one fucking deal over the line until 3 weeks before the season starts.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Lawrence. I'd like it to be a little bit more quick and all, but we are getting business done. And
yeah, I know, but people scoff at me, say no club will get 6 signings done in a season. Look at fucking Aston Villa. They've already signed 6 players. They've got another transfer lined up. It can be done, Ray, if you stop dragging your heels.
Yeah.
This guy, we're looking good, but as I said, we need a striker. We don't need goalkeepers. We've got enough goalkeepers. Why is Arteta going after another goalkeeper? We've already signed an 18-year-old. Now he's after another fucking goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Why isn't he going for an out-and-out striker who can bag 20 to 25 goals in a season? Because Eddie Nketiah ain't going to get 25 goals in a season.
No.
Neither is Kai Havertz. Yeah. I'm sorry to say. For all them lot who think that Kai Havertz is the answer to our goal-scoring problems, he ain't, right? As I said, we need another striker. We need to strengthen the midfield. Right. We need to strengthen that left-back as well.
Well, I think we're good at left back. We're good at left back now. We got Timber and Calafiori at left back. We got Zinchenko. We got Kivior. That's enough right now. We're good.
But as I said, Ray, the way this club operates in the transfer market is a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And then
take elements of what you're saying and agree with them. Yeah.
And to encompass it all, we've got dickheads in our fan base. Once they hear we're after a big name player, we've got to superimpose his face on an Arsenal shirt before he's even signed for us, which embarrasses the club and makes the club who's the selling club put more money on the players.
Well, Lawrence, it's all about social media and interaction and getting their clicks as well. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Facts, Lawrence. We need those signings in if we're to compete again. Yeah, and I'd love a striker that could be an Ian Wright for Arsenal. You know what I mean? Another Ian Wright.
Yeah, but apparently Arteta's more intent in signing 58 goalkeepers for us.
Yeah, we have been involved over the last 5 years with a lot of goalkeepers. Alonso, any final words before we get out of here? Things are moving. We'd want them to move faster. Calafiori will be joining up. We should see maybe in the next week or so Declan Rice and Saka and Ramsdale coming in. And then Emile Smith-Rowe moving out. It's unfortunate for me, Emile Smith-Rowe, but if he's going to be injured, he's not going to play very much. Might as well take 35 million that we can take. Eddie and Kenya on his way out too. Go ahead.
Yeah, to Marseille, right? And I think Reece Nelson had a good 2 games. So whether or not Arteta's up for him to stay is up to him. But if I think with Reece Nelson, he's playing on the shoulder. But I think I've heard they'll start in for him as well as West Ham. So I think outgoings are just as important as incomings. So we'll see what happens with them. But
100%.
I think there's a lot of love towards Emile Smith-Rowe, and we all fans know that it's not a bad thing for him to go. He doesn't want to go, but I think he sees the benefit of him leaving benefit him more than him staying.
Yep. Okay. All right. Just playing around with some backgrounds here. So might as well do it live while I'm at it. While we're out of here. So let's see what that one looks like. Oh, not too bad. All right. Listen, we'll leave it there. Lawrence, Alonso, thanks for joining. We might have a little bit of a rebranding here a little bit for the next show and Thursday Night Forum. Okay.
So Ray, you can have your Liverpool shirt on Thursday.
I'll do one of those half and half shirts, Lawrence. Like one of those scarves, the half and half scarves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's see if there's not really any kind of a red one. Okay. All right. Don't like that. All right, mango. Don't like mango. That's not good. All right, that's a good one there. All right, Alonso, Lawrence, thanks for joining. Stephen, thanks for being here. Also, Riddy, let's give a shout out to everybody who was here today. Riddy was here. Tybe was here. Craig, AFC Always, was here. Doug from Dugout Football Channel was here. Who else? Hawkwind was in the house. Yeah, listen, there was a few of you in the house today. Thanks for watching. As always, Michael is here in the chat box as well. So thanks for being here, Michael. This is a shorter one today, so we will catch you on the next one. We've covered everything, and we go to Philadelphia next for the game with Liverpool, where I will not be wearing a half and a half shirt. I will be wearing a full Arsenal. It's the full Arsenal, Lawrence. All right. All of you take care out there. Do something with what remains of your Sunday, and we'll see you on Thursday. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Alonso. Thanks, Lawrence. Be good, everybody out there. Come on, you Gooners. Arsenal beat Manchester United once again, and we live in Ten Hag's head forever. Come on, you Gunners. We're still live.